You may ask 3 questions, only 3, which I will answer without trickery. A mischievous gold sparkle illuminates her eyes briefly, and then you will answer mine. But Cora can't move, speak, or breathe, with the mistress's eyes boring into her. She can only stand frozen in place as she fights down the part of her brain telling her to kneel in the presence of authority. It would be so much easier than standing. In fact, it would be wonderful to forget the questions and let the mistress tell her what to do, like Jeremy did. That does it. A hot, rebellious voice burns through the litany of dependence, shoving her animal mind back down. She tears her gaze from the mistress and fixes it on her reassuringly ordinary boots. It's enough to ground her so she can form words around her whirling thoughts. "Where am I?" she asks. The question is directed at the floor, and Cora can hear the mistress's growl of annoyance and disrespect, but she doesn't dare lift her chin. "You're standing in the center of the throne room of the mistress of the land of the dead," comes the answer. The next question tumbles out in a reflexive gasp of shock. "I'm dead?" A hint of amusement. "Yes." Cora manages to stifle the howl forming on her lips before she wastes the precious last question. Her mind, primed since childhood to believe in fairy tales, races to reassess everything she's seen and heard since arriving. The dark castle, the gray ocean, the strange guards, and the ethereal queen. They certainly add up to her mythological expectations of the underworld. The tingle of recognition ignites a sudden memory of twisted blue steel and uncontrolled speed that smashes into her gut, making her want to retch. The truck, the accident. I died on the side of the road. No one came to save me. "Well," the mistress demands, cutting through Cora's nightmarish reverie. "What is your final question, girl? It's not polite to keep others waiting." Now Cora does look up, fists clenched at her sides and fire in her chest. This isn't what she wanted. It's too soon. There's still so much to do. Questions that can't go unanswered, wrongs to right. She juts out her chin with a defiance she feels but isn't sure she can maintain when she meets the mistress's eyes. The mistress smirks appreciatively at the show of will. The smile slides from her face when Cora says, "How do I get back?" "Back? There's no going back. Once you're here, you must stay." The mistress raises her head haughtily and peers down her aquiline nose at Cora. Surely even the dimmest mortals know that to be true. Years of memorization leaped to Cora's rescue to strengthen her resolve with a litany of human heroes who visited the underworld and returned to tell the tale. What about Lazarus and Orpheus and Powell? And the slap rings out sharply in the hall, followed by the muffled sound of Cora's body hitting the ground. She catches herself on both hands, jamming her wrists against the solid stone and sending fresh waves of pain up to meet the 4 brilliant finger marks across her right cheek. She wills herself not to show weakness by crying, but she can't help the panicked tears slipping out when the mistress presses one long, metal-heeled shoe into the center of her chest. The air around the mistress crackles, and Cora lets herself be pushed flat to the floor. "How dare you?" It's a condemnation, not a question. "How dare you challenge my authority in my own domain? You have no right to make demands of me. That you throw silly folk tales in my face is laughable proof of your ignorance." She presses the spike of her heel further into Cora's ribs. They creak alarmingly, and Cora tries to hold her breath for support, her mind racing. The mistress leans closer, tilting her head to one side like a bird of prey. "Do you know what happens if you're killed in the underworld, child? Do you know what eternal torments wait for you?" She turns her black eyes directly at Cora's gray ones, and the remaining breath drains from Cora's lungs. She braces herself to receive images of horrendous deaths and torture, but none come. Instead, warm tendrils of alien thoughts touch her mind. She could feel the mistress carefully searching her dark private spaces, soaking up her essence. Cora's panic rises as ugly memories and shameful desires return to the surface, things she's never told another soul, feelings bared out of fear. She's violated, stripped of her defense. After a long moment, the mistress raises one delicate eyebrow and murmurs something under Cora's hearing. Then she laughs without humor. "You're a petty, selfish little girl, Cora Riley," she says. The mistress yanks her foot from Cora's chest and stalks her way back up the dais to perch on the throne, skirts pooling around her feet in a river of gold. Cora gulps air as the world comes back into focus. She doesn't want to die here. She didn't want to die in the first place. But she knows it must be possible to go back. There are too many stories for them not to be true. Her hand gently prods her ribs to make sure nothing's broken, and then she gets to her feet. Face hot with anger, she takes a shaky step forward, looking anywhere but at the eyes that see through her. The orc guards, previously slouching and entertained by the spectacle of her humiliation, become suddenly alert and close rank in front of the dais. The mistress smirks from behind them, almost daring her to come closer. "You know I'm right, my lady," Cora says, taking another, more determined step. The legends are all the same. The ruler of the underworld makes a bargain with the hero, sets him some monumental task in exchange for a second chance, and then has to keep their promise when the hero succeeds. She takes another step forward. The guards cross their weapons into a barrier between her and the mistress. Cora smiles. It widens the split inside her cheek, but she doesn't care. She holds out her arms and gestures grandly around the throne room. "Since I don't see anyone else here asking for a ticket back to civilization, I guess that makes me the hero. And you owe me a quest." Her words echo strongly, but are met with silence. Long seconds drag past, and then the mistress starts to laugh. It's the bouncing of dice, the rustle of leaves in an orchard. Apple blossom scent bursts through the room. One by one, the orcs join in, their guttural snorts marring the sound. Cora lowers her arms and her face falls as the laughter continues for what seems like an hour. But it ends abruptly. The mistress's face suddenly a mask of seriousness and danger as her hand cuts through the air to silence her minions. She crooks a gold-taloned finger to the corner of the chamber, and Hank rushes forward to kneel in front of her. "Take this insolent child to the dungeon. Perhaps a night in the cells will smooth her rough edges. Tomorrow I will determine her fate." "Yes, mistress." Hank pops up and rushes to Cora's side. She's so dumbstruck that she doesn't struggle when he seizes her elbow and marches her back the way she came only minutes ago. Damn it, that should have worked. So, that's chapter 4.
They were once known as angels from the sky.